laksa, curry chicken, rendang, and more. What if I told you that there was a spice mix or rempah that could make them all? Rempah is essential for many spicy Nyonya and Malay dishes. Rempah made by yourself can be customized to your own taste and be made much less oily. Welcome to Gastromania. If you're new here, we upload 2 weekly recipes, so be sure to subscribe and stay tuned for more. Let's get right into our rempah recipe. We begin with the ingredients. I advise everyone to make a larger batch if possible for economies of scale, as this will be a very labour-intensive process. You can just multiply the recipe to make a larger batch. This recipe will make about 1 takeaway box worth of rempah, and it can be used for making 2 to 3 dishes. The first ingredient is 300 grams of shallots. They are extremely fragrant when fried, and this is the key ingredient to making a good rempah. The reason why homemade rempah or sambal tastes better is because commercially made ones will blend in red onions to lessen the cost incurred. We also need about 10 cloves of garlic as another aromatic, but do not add too much as we do not want the garlic overpowering our rempah. Peel off the skin of the 2 ingredients and set it aside for later use. Next, we need about 10 large red chilies for the spiciness. Remove the seeds inside the red chilies to remove the heat and prevent your rempah from becoming overly spicy. Cut them up into smaller pieces before going into the blender later on. Optionally, you can add in a few bird's eye chilies to make the rempah more spicy. Next, we have 70 grams of dried red chili. They are much more fragrant than the raw red chilies. We will need to soak them in water for at least an hour to rehydrate them and de-seed them to prevent excessive spiciness. Simply cut them across the center and add it to water, and their seeds will drop out. Next, we have candle nuts or buah keras. They have to be soaked to soften before going into the blender. This ingredient is present to release natural candle nut oil into the rempah that is extremely aromatic, and you cannot substitute this with other nuts. Next up, we have galangal or blue ginger. This is a very unique ingredient with a citrusy smell that is completely different from normal ginger. You will need about 50 grams of galangal. This is how the galangal looks like with its skin on. You will also have about 50 grams of fresh turmeric or yellow ginger. It also has a smell that is completely different from normal ginger, and please do not substitute it with turmeric powder as they have very different effects. And we have about 4 stalks of lemongrass. They have a very faint fragrance that will be sure to make your rempah more fragrant. Remove the fibrous outer skin and cut off the top green parts. We only need the lower white parts, chopped up finely before going into the blender. The last item on this list is belacan or prawn paste. It has a very strong umami flavour that will only be apparent 1 day after the rempah has been completed, and only about 20 grams will be needed given how strong it is. There is not quite any other ingredient that can be used to substitute this ingredient. You will need to dry toast them and break them up into powder form to remove water and fully release its flavour. Now remember to remove the hanging clothes inside your house and close all the doors of your bedrooms before cooking this inside your house, as the smell will be very strong and will linger for days. With all the ingredients introduced, we can then blend them up into a paste. We first blend the shallots and garlic. We'll be making the shallot garlic paste that is separate from the remaining ingredients, as we need to fry these ingredients first. Add about 75 ml of vegetable oil and blend the 2 ingredients into a paste. Instead of adding water, I prefer adding oil instead, as we have to add oil to fry the paste later on, and one of the purposes of the frying is to get rid of the water inside the ingredients anyway. When blending, be sure to occasionally open up the blender and push down the ingredients on the side so that they can be evenly blended. The paste does not need to be extremely smooth, about this consistency is fine. Remove the shallot garlic paste and set aside. Continue blending the remaining ingredients. If you are using a smaller blender like me, I recommend adding the softer ingredients first before moving to the harder ones so that they can be blended more effectively. Same like the shallot garlic mixture, be sure to add oil to make the blend smoother. Don't forget to add your toasted belacan into the blender so that it is evenly mixed up. You should aim for the consistency of something like this. It doesn't have to be too wet. With this, we are off to the frying. Add about 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil and coat the base of the wok with oil to prevent sticking. We first add in the shallot garlic paste into the wok. We are frying this first to make it much more fragrant and remove the rawness inside the shallot, once again to make this rempah more fragrant. This will take about 5 to 10 minutes depending on your quantity. When the paste has become very fragrant and the color looks like this, it's ready to add the chili paste. Add in the chili paste and mix well with the cooked shallot garlic mixture. After mixing them, we will have to cook the rempah at low to medium heat for about 25 to 40 minutes until the oil within the chili is being forced out and the paste darkens. One tip for making the rempah less oily is to only add about 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil whenever it becomes dry and difficult to mix around. Adding it in steps instead of large quantity at the start will make your rempah much less oily like those sold in the shops. And this is one of the main reasons why I prefer making my sambals at home. When the rempah has darkened and the oil is forced out of the chili, we can start to season it lightly with 2 teaspoons of salt and 2 teaspoons of sugar. The salt not only acts as a flavouring but also a natural preservative that lets you keep the rempah for longer periods so that you can cook it in a larger batch. Mix in the salt and sugar evenly and remove it to let it cool down. I suggest that you use this rempah only after one day to allow the flavour of the belacan diffuse into the rempah to make it much more umami. With this rempah, you can make dishes like hebi hiam, curry chicken, rendang, laksa, mee siam, just to name a few. Be sure to subscribe to this channel as we're going to have a series of spicy Nyonya and Malay dishes broken down and explained so that you can do it easily too. We have come to the end of today's recipe. If you liked our rempah recipe, be sure to like, subscribe and share the recipes. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook by searching the same name as our channel. And I'll catch you in my next video.